We're live. Our lunchtime tea talk, next level conversation, level up with the Akbars. It says it looks like you was deleted. Go live. Well, it says that I'm not live, but apparently I am. You're on Facebook. Okay, I wanted it to go on Facebook too. Here's my co-host.
I would like to join. I would like to join if I may.
Yeah, so it just says that we are actually just YouTube. We're not going live on Facebook for some reason. Oh,
What?
yeah. It says removal. No. Okay, anyway, let's say today it's at 12:45. So I'll just put 40, 50, save changes. All right. Hopefully it'll work out. I don't know, but we're just gonna go for what we know. I can just take the link and post it on Facebook. Hi, Mr. Akbar.
Hello, Ms. Rachel. How are you?
Good. I just want to welcome everyone to our lunchtime tea talk, next level conversation, level up with the Akbars. We got some juice today. We got tea,
There it is.
but it's good, huh?
I
Yep.
believe it.
And today we're talking about finances again. We've wrapped around from the 5Fs, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, talking about finance. And what we were talking about actually was, can you retire if you have a 401k and stay retired post-retirement between ages 68 and 90? I'd like you to answer that, and I'll put that in the chat.
Well, I will tell you the honest truth, Ms. Rachel. That question is insightful and it's informative in so many ways when it's addressed. Because I'm going to tell you this: what I found that it's better to know long before than it is to find out long after.
Mm.
You know, I'm telling you from experience. You know, yeah, you can retire with a 401k, and you can stay retired right up until the point where you can't. Yeah, I just want you to know, and so, you're going to have problems with the 401k if you live longer than, anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just reality. That's the way it's set up. It's not designed for a retirement plan. It was a supplemental to your retirement plan. In other words, it was an add-on,
Mm-hmm.
To help you along with Social Security and whatever else you may have had already. But solely depending on a 401k to retire on, right? You don't even know how the stock market is going to be functioning when you're ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
And your 401k is directly tied to the stock market. Benefits that you get off your 401k is determined by the stock market being up.
Mm-hmm.
If the stock market is down, ready to retire, well, you got a problem. And we're not going to even talk about the deferred comp aspect of it, about how you haven't paid taxes on any of that money. So when you're ready to retire, you thought you had $1.5 million, but then the stock market crashed and you go down to $750,000, and then you got to pay taxes. And then that takes you down to what? $430,000. And you got a whole different set of problems because now, man, I just had $1.5 million and I thought I was ready to retire. Now I'm down to $400,000. Well, I have to reconsider my retirement. And so those are the problems that people have. That's why I say it's better to know at time than to find out way after time. Yeah. And so that's the reality. So, I just want to address your question, Ms. Rachel. And sometimes, I go off on my own thinking around some of the questions that you ask me, because as someone who is experienced, and I'm not going to say I've been victimized by the 401k or the 403b or the TSP or 457, any one of those processes that all are deferred comps. No, I've been awakened as a reality, as a result of knowing about how they have affected me and how they affected millions of other Americans when it's too late. Mm-hmm. So we trying to go upstream to find out how all these bodies are coming downstream, right? And so we go upstream, we find that, there's something that can be repaired upstream. Mm-hmm. And where's upstream in reference to your retirement plan? It's before you're ready to retire, like when you're 30 or 40.
Yes.
So those are the people we really want to talk to, people who are 30 or 40. 50 years old, you're right on the teeter, right? You should have already had a plan in place that was going to sustain you in retirement. So anyway, yeah, that's your question, Rachel, about the 401k allowing you to stay retired after retiring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll say it again. You can stay retired right up until you can.
Well, that's why it was kind of like a trick question. It said, "Can you retire if you have a 401k between ages 68 and 90?" So the thing is, you can retire, but the question is how long can you stay retired? And most people don't realize that the pension plans have gone away a long time ago. And even individuals that say they have a pension plan, they still don't realize those pension plans are going to be taxed 40% as well. So my goal in our crusade is just to go out and share with families how to not be left out in the cold. If now the government is saying to yourself that we've taken away these retirement plans, now you have to create your own retirement plan, and they're putting the retirement plan back in the hands of the employee. Many people are walking around disengaged and kind of befuddled in a sense by thinking that they're going to be okay, that it's just going to somehow work out. And how is this going to just work out where you're able to stay retired if now that 401k, that tax deferred plan that we're talking about, not only has it been taxed, but it's no longer attached to anything. So it's not going to continue growing. So you can about know exactly when you're going to run out of money. And you ask yourself the question, if the average person only has 38,000 in their retirement plan, I encourage you all to, when you get off this video, you go to your HR department and you see how much money you have in your 401k. Ask yourself the question, if I was going to retire today, take away 40% from that now and see what you have left. And then ask yourself, what about market volatility? What if the market was to crash today? All of that will be gone. And then when they tell you things like, well, if you're young, it can come back, it'll grow back. Well, we just got finished talking about that. You want to share a little bit about that, Mr. Akbar, what you said about that earlier?
Well, so this is an interesting piece, in response to what you're talking about. Interesting piece is that the majority, now think about this, we are relying on our retirement plan to sustain us after we leave our job. But now this is remarkable. Most people don't even know how it works. Now, you're relying on a plan set up by you and your company to take care of you and your family when you leave your job. But how much confidence and trust do you have in a company where you don't even know about how it works? You're giving it solely up to them. And then go and talk to human resources, and you might be puzzled to discover that they know very little about it as well.
Right.
Only what their personal experience is. So this is the situation. I have a retirement plan that I have been paying into for 2 decades, over 2 decades. And I thought that I was going to be secure and that my company had the same level of passion for sustaining my retirement as I had for sustaining their company.
Yes.
And come to find out, after further investigation, the rascal that was in charge of offering me this plan, a part of human resources, he knew very little about it.
Yes.
In other words, he referred me to the company that they had outsourced my retirement account to. And who is that? Fidelity. So now my conversation no longer is with the company I work for that I thought I had my plan with. It was with Fidelity. And come to find out, Fidelity had my plan in a market where they was negotiating what they thought was going to do well in the market. And my retirement plan was fluctuating according to their speculations. And it was crazy because I never knew. And I 30 years prior or 40 years prior. And so many people now, the conversation that we having right now is impactful. And even though it may not appear to be such, but it's causing people now to think about their retirement. And if we can do nothing else other than provoke thought around something as vital as you depending on a plan that should work for you and your family, you leave your job, but it won't, not long term. Isn't that something that we should all be interested in learning about?
Yeah.
Of course. And
Yeah.
the reason that we weren't that interested in learning about it is because it was not often talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And so now the conversation is open.
Yeah.
Level up with the ag boss.
Level up with that part.
Level up, baby.
I put a
We're gonna
question.
talk about it.
I put a question in there. Why is Walmart the #1 employer for people over age 67?
Well, because they'll give them a job with no experience.
Mm.
But part of their orientation is to smile and greet everybody. Now,
Like a slap in the face, huh?
if you want your job, you need to stand up here and smile with the people that come in as patrons.
Mm.
Don't care about how you have your stomach hurt or your back, your arthritis is acting up on you.
Mm.
Right? Stand up and smile
Mm.
and greet the people. And if you are not happy to have this job, they don't need to know that. It's crazy. But
you gotta laugh to keep from crying because it's super sad because the people that are getting these jobs are elderly people that found that their retirement plan was not going to serve them post-retirement and that Social Security was not going to be enough to sustain them. So they had to go back to work. And guess what? Many of them have given up many of their assets and the things that their businesses and things like that when they find they can no longer afford to keep them. But even after they've given up everything, they still can't afford to sustain themselves with the way that inflation is increasing. So,
we need to talk about inflation.
no, we didn't.
We didn't even add that in the equation. The value of the dollar going down, and that's going to have an impact as well on your retirement account.
Well, Mr. Akbar,
so
we only have. Go ahead.
No, there is so many ways, that your retirement account has been impacted and you don't know about it. But we having this conversation to invoke thought.
Yes.
To provoke you to think more about it and even look into it, because then you'll find out there are some things you should know. Even about Fidelity having my account, I didn't know they was charging me 3 to 5% interest.
Yes.
Whether or not the stock market went up or down, they was charging me 3% interest. So they was going to win if I lost.
Anyway.
It's great. And I didn't know that. And I was like, when I found out, I was like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. I didn't hire you.
You know what that's called? It's called hidden fees.
Hidden fees.
We teach and share with individuals that there is a video called the 401k Fallout. It's by the reputable TV show 60 Minutes. That on YouTube, and it goes into how individuals were sideswiped, so to speak. But the individuals that control 401k said that it's not a 401k issue, it's a people issue. In other words, they're saying we share with you this information was never meant to be a full retirement plan. This information was meant to be a supplement to retirement. When you got a 401k, 403b, TSP, 459, 457, those were meant to be supplements to retirement. Like Social Security is meant to be a supplement. It's not meant to be your full-blown retirement plan. So when they have no empathy, no sympathy for individuals that get to retirement age and say to themselves, hey, I didn't plan to fail, but guess what? I failed to plan.
Yeah.
And so now they say, oh, well, ignorance is bliss. You didn't research.
That's the biggest lie told.
Yeah, you didn't research. So now, figure it out. So that's why so many elderlies commit suicide. That's why so many elderlies have to go live with a loved one. Now they feel like a burden because all these years you've been manifesting this wonderful lifestyle. Then now you have to give back. You have to give it back because you can't afford to maintain it.
Doesn't that seem like some form of elder abuse?
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. It's the biggest form of elderly abuse.
Committed by who? The government.
The government. But guess
Committed by corporate America.
Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the solution, Mr. Akbar, because we're going to go over just a few minutes today because we got started a little late. But there is a solution. It's a solution to retirement. They're called FIAs, fixed indexed annuities. They're also called LIRP, LIRPs, life insurance retirement plan. And you definitely will want to get with a financial professional, Mr. Akbar, myself. We can sit down and educate you on exactly what you can have. And it's not too late. Even if you have health issues, it has nothing to do with FIAs. That means that as long as you're suitable, where you can show suitability, that you can have this product, maintain this product, you can have this product, and it's called lifetime income, income for life. If structured correctly, if structured properly, are suitable, that plan can last you throughout your whole lifetime. Now, with those LIRPs, the life insurance retirement plan, that's actually a law. You can have one of those for each individuals in your family. Now, with each individual in your family having a LIRP, it has to be structured correctly in order for it to perform the way you want it to perform. But there is a caveat, it's a key to it. You do have to be fairly healthy to have the life insurance retirement plan. So one more time, for individuals that are looking that may be healthy, life insurance retirement plan is the way to go, utilizing the tax code 7702 section A. Read about it. Get the book, Life Insurance, Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance by Jake Thompson. Get the book, The Retirement Miracle. There are over 20 books written on tax-free retirement, where the government doesn't walk away with all your hard-earned money. You worked all this time for this money just to have to give back half. That's crazy. And when I say the average person that's 30 years old only has $38, almost $40,000 saved in their retirement plan, they have to give back half of that. And then under individuals that work for the police department, other reputable companies, they might have accumulated $400,000 in their retirement plan to have to give back $160,000 at retirement plan. Now you're left with $240,000. So where you thought you might have had 10 years of retirement, now it's been reduced to 5, and in some cases 2 and 3. So, man, this information is critical. It's super important. I'm so grateful that we're changing the face of the financial industry. So we get opportunity to go out there and share with families how not only do you not be a victim of financial cancer, but you can come into a like this, learn, because you're trained from A to Z. Learn about and share this information with families and protect your financial future and not have to be suffering in silence. Man, Ms. Akbar, I'm so passionate about it because it's doing a job on our people, where they're not able to
Middle income America.
Yeah, fulfill their dreams and goals.
Middle income America. That's it. That's the deal. And so information is powerful if you use it. Mm-hmm. And so we're making sure that people have the tool that they can use, which is information, and your decision, you'll decide on what you're going to do with it. But I tell you what, I think it's unnecessary and unfair if you do have information about how you can correct the future wrong and you do nothing about it and allow yourself to drift into the future. And guess what? Find out it was all wrong. And now it's not only you that's affected, but now people got to look after you, take care of you to make sure you okay. Come on, do it like that. Let's do it the right way. Let's take responsibility out of our retirement. Make sure everything is secure because you have the information now. I wish I had it about 40 years ago. It would have been a tremendous benefit for me to know that instead of putting $400 a month into a 403B, which works identical to a 401k, I could have been put into what Rachel was referring to as a LIRP, a life insurance retirement plan, where I could have got the benefit of having insurance in case I got sick and couldn't work. Mm-hmm. And I had the benefit of having a retirement plan. And then I had access to money in case I had an emergency. Oh, my goodness. If I wanted to send my grandchildren to college, I could take that money as well and utilize it for that purpose. It was my money. Mm-hmm. But the retirement plan I had, they ended up penalizing me when I had an emergency. I wanted $25,000. I ended up with $14,000. I asked them why. What happened? They said, well, you not 59 and a half, so you got a 10% penalty, and then you haven't paid taxes, so you have to pay your federal and your state. And so it brought your $25,000 down to $14,000. And I was like, wait, I needed 25. I didn't need 14. And so as a result of that, I don't know what I did with that money. It didn't satisfy my emergency.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
squandered the money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Most people do. Most people end up paying the taxes and then taking it to use it for expenses. Now, guess what? They right back down to ground zero and not have anything. So we're really talking to the educators. We're talking to teachers. We're talking to people that are in the field of medical field. We're talking to doctors. We're talking to caregivers that don't even have any kind of retirement plan. These are the kind of people that we're talking to. We're talking to law enforcement. Many people think that, hey, hey, I got a little bit of money saved. Yeah, but what about a crisis? What about an emergency? Just like we saw with COVID, 3 to 6 months of income saved is still not enough. So what I want to say is we help families protect their whole savings in life against market risk, market volatility. If the market was to crash, even if you're doing all the right things, you're going to suffer. If you don't have where you got protection against these things, you don't have your money at a floor rate. So if the market was to crash, guess what? You don't lose your principal and you don't lose the interest that you've already accumulated. So these products, these plans are amazing if structured correctly. I mean, they're something that we've always thought about, always wished about, and always didn't know that we could have. And so we definitely want to go out and share this information. These are high interest savings plans. Can you imagine? We're putting our money in the bank. The banks are giving us 0.01% interest. One lady corrected me. She says, "Oh, I get 0.03%." I said, "Oh, okay." She really thought that was a lot. But
Hmm.
even if they were to give you a penny on the dollar, your money's not growing. And guess what? If it's using the rule of 72, meaning it's going to take 72 years for your money to double. So if you're putting some money in the bank, you're age 29, so to speak. Most people are starting to save way later, and you put $10,000 in the bank, you're going to be 101 before that money matures to $20,000. I don't know about you, Mr. Akbar, but I don't have till I'm 101 years old for my money to double. Do you?
And if it did double, inflation would eat that right up.
It would eat
Because
right up.
you know what $20,000 look like in 72 years, the way inflation is running at 3 to 5%.
Right. So when we're talking about someone to create a high interest savings plan where it's growing tax free. I mean, I don't know why more people don't say, what? What did you say? Yes, a high interest plan that's growing tax free. You can get 9% up to 15%, and in some cases, 25%, depending on what company we choose, whichever one works best for the client. And again, if structured correctly, these plans, you will never run out of money. Your family, future generations will never run out of money. I got to show it. I always do, just to be clear, because people say, what? They just talking. This book right here, What Would the Rockefellers Do? Oh, my. Mr. Garrett B. Gunderson talks about how the Rockefellers utilized whole life to create their legacy. They're 8, 9 generations still in of being one of the wealthiest families today. But if they would use these index strategies that I'm talking about, they would have a high interest savings account. They would be the wealthiest family today. So
Yes,
sharing,
indeed.
man, I wished when I was a lot younger that someone, and I'm so grateful, like I said, that we're changing the face of the financial industry, that there's so many young people coming into this business, so many people of color in general, learning that don't be scared of money, don't be scared of numbers, don't be scared of finances, because we don't do not one math problem when we sit down and share this information with family. The computer does it. We just put in some numbers, put in some information, and bam, there it is. And then we go over it with the client and they get an opportunity to see what they can have opposed to what they do have. If we take people from good to great, man, I'm just so grateful that I wasn't at a stage in my life where it was just too late to appreciate any of this. So with that, I'm Sincerely grateful. Mr. Akbar, do you have any closing words? Because I think just sharing this information is something for somebody to chew on. If you want any more information, reach out to me and Mr. Akbar. We're happy to sit down with you and your family, share this information, just show you what's available to you, and then also give you an opportunity to read some of these books that have changed our life and our family's lives. Mr. Akbar.
To the men who are responsible for your family, make sure they secure, my brother. Peace and blessings. There is
Optimal blessings.
done.
You want to come join me for some pizza? I got some vegetarian pizza.
On my way.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.